Hello, everyone. We are back. Another episode in the Design Lounge. It is Friday, so we're gonna have a good time today. And I'm speaking with Gillian Segal of the Gillian Segal Design in BC. We had the pleasure of meeting at Interior Design Show. I think it was the BC version, but it was like a really quick. It was a real quick, like, you were coming off the main stage. I was just saying hi really quick, and I was like, we got to get her on for a full conversation. So, for the people that don't know who you are, tell them who you are and what you've been doing for the last 8 years or so.
Yeah, so my name's Gillian Segal. I have a boutique interior design studio based here in beautiful, rainy Vancouver. But we work all across North America, mostly on luxury residential projects, some boutique commercial projects. And I have a fully female team here at our studio in Vancouver. So it's me plus six,
Okay.
lots of female energy. And we're working on some really exciting projects right now.
Love to hear, love to see that. So, I think for me, the funnest part about doing these conversations is the discovery. It's the research. It's finding out what they've done, seeing their projects, seeing the conversation they've had, and trying to give a unique spin to it. So this is the art and style series. You're part of that. As people can tell, I see the mock neck with the sleeveless. Uh,
It's
you know,
Well, it's kind of confusing weather here right now. So I'm
yeah.
like, sometimes I'm hot. This is the cold side.
Exactly. See the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
But
in
talking
between
about
season dressing.
right, talking about the fashion. So I'm going through your Instagram pages, right? And I scroll down and I see what I believe was your Palm Beach project.
Mm.
Um, and within that, I'm scrolling and I'm seeing the project and I'm hitting the carousel photo, and I noticed a pair of Loewe sneakers. And
Oh,
I'm like, oh, okay, Loewe. I know that brand. That's a brand that's become more popular over the last couple of years. And then I'm scrolling again, and I see what I think to believe is Loewe flower sunglasses in a photo you have with one of your daughters, and they have a
you
very
know you're
similar
Loewe.
pair. I know my Loewe, and so the question is, hey, that's such now it's become popular. It's more of a unique brand, but what draws you to them? What's your favorite part of Loewe? Is it the sunglasses, the jeans, the accessories? I love it. And then as a second follow up question to that, that's kind of like a if you know brand, right? Within the fashion sphere, that's one of those brands. Okay, like if you're in fashion, but the average person's not gonna notice the sneakers. What would be that brand or similar to that in interior design?
Oh, the like if you know brand.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like for me, it's less of a brand and it's more like vintage pieces and knowing some of the like older designers or like knowing, that's like an old Casina piece from the 1970s. But um to answer, I think you had a question somewhere in there about Loewe.
yeah. No, I was asking what do you love most about them? Because they do so much. This is me
Um,
geeking out on the fashion side because I
yeah,
love the brand.
no. It's one of my favorite brands. My husband actually just copied me and bought the men's sneakers, and my
Okay.
4-year-old was ridiculing him that he had copied my shoes. But those are actually my favorite sneakers. I just think they do contemporary design so well. Like it's edgy but also understated. I like that like their logo, it doesn't say Loewe everywhere. It's like
Exactly.
quite subtle. And I feel like their pieces are all super elevated basics. Like those sneakers I wear with dresses, I wear them with jeans, I wore them to the gym once.
What do it? I mean,
Yeah, they can go anywhere. And those
yeah.
sunglasses, like those like leafy ones,
Yep.
I feel like they make any outfit look amazing.
Oh my goodness, I was just wearing some Olave sunglasses today, and they are the circled ones, and they're like ivory with a gold around it. And I get the most compliments ever. But I won't make this like a Loewe edition. I just wanted to throw that out there and get it started because this is art and style. But speaking of art and style, one of your icons or people that you look up to, Carrie Russell, right? Which is you think about her, you think about fashion, obviously design, obviously impeccable taste. A big part of her brand is the actual fashion component.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider yourself being an interior designer? A, following in those footsteps, it seems like your brand is building in that direction, but also, would you do a collection, a fashion, or a brand collaboration with your name on it?
Oh my God, that would be like a dream come true. So the answer is yes. To any
Yeah.
brands who are listening, I'm available and ready. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I think everyone not everyone. Oh, I'm sure not everyone, but I think most people can agree that Kelly Orsler's pretty amazing, even if you don't like specifically love her aesthetic. I just
Yeah.
think the brand she's built, the business she's built, how like original she is and her ideas. And yeah, you definitely see that in how she dresses. Like she is super expressive. It totally is a part of all of her like editorial shots. I'm less in front of the camera than she is. I'm trying to get more comfortable with that, but um, yeah, no, fashion is a huge part of my life. It's a huge passion of mine, and it like brings me so much joy to get dressed every day and to look at clothes and yeah, I think it's like our armor that we wear every day. So I
No, I
love
mean, I love it. I think I love fashion. I think I read a quote. It was Tom Ford. He was like, essentially, like whenever he has a bad day, like he puts on a suit, and that is like his suit of armor. Like regardless of whatever's going on, he can put on in his case like a black tailored suit, and that like blocks everything out. And also, it just changes like not only how you feel, but how everyone else approaches you. I know
I've
you. I know
never
you,
heard that. I've never heard that quote before, but one of my favorite quotes is when you feel your worst, look your best. So
without
it's
question.
kind of pardon? Yeah, and it kind of is like the same vibe. Like if I'm having a really tough day or I feel really bad, I'll always put on like an extra special outfit, and then you do kind of have like a bounce in your step after.
Literally,
You know,
right?
feeling
It's like
yourself.
it's like a instant like it's like endorphin, like get them highs immediately. I know you had I think you sat down with her or you had a dinner or something with her, and you had about 3 million or so questions. Were you able to ask her one of those questions? If so, what did you ask her?
So I was supposed to be at a dinner with her,
Okay,
and I was so excited. And then this was during like kind of COVID-y stuff, and then
okay.
she wasn't able to come, and I was
Mm,
crushed. So my questions are still burning and
okay.
unanswered,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
You probably have like closer to 4 million now. So, okay, speaking of like jewelry design, doing a collaboration, I know you helped design is it Melanie?
Melanie
How does she
Alt.
go? Oh,
Mel
her store in Vancouver, her retail location, which was
Yeah.
a little bit. It seemed like a little bit of departure from typical jewelry stores. Talk about you as a designer. I know you do commercial, you do residential. I know one of the things you want to do is boutique hotels. You being a consumer, a luxury consumer, and a luxury designer, how does that translate for you working with commercial designs versus residential designs? And do you think your calling is much as great as you do the residential homes? Do you think the commercial side you might love even a little bit more because of that?
I mean, I think I can bring my point of view to both things. I think with Mel's
Totally.
store, yeah, I'm like obsessed with jewelry. I'm actually like usually every day I have a couple of her pieces on, and I can't believe I'm not wearing any of her jewelry today. But um, yeah, I mean, I think that's our job is to bring our point of view and our experience into a project. And with her store, she had such a great vision where she wanted a luxury experience, but she didn't want her customers to feel intimidated by
Hmm.
a super like sterile, very serious. I mean, going into a jewelry store can be intimidating for anybody, especially
Right.
if I'm with my husband. He's never that excited to go into a jewelry store
Well,
with me.
he knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's like sweating. Um, so yeah, I think that was really part of her brief. So it was almost like the opposite, where I was like bringing the luxury consumer piece, but also trying to like tone it down and make it feel really approachable. And I think homes are the same, like even in like luxury spaces, I think that means something different to everybody. Like what is luxury to you might be different than what is luxury to me. Like to me it might mean, because of the phase of life I'm in with little kids, it might mean zero maintenance and easy cleanability. To you it might mean like suede sofas and whatever it is. But I think part of my job is figuring out what that means to my client, or to my client if it's a commercial project, like what that means to their consumers and who are their consumers. And I think that's a really, it's like design is so psychological. Like there's this
Totally.
huge psychology component, which I find so interesting because every client has such different values and they want to spend their money differently and they care about different things. And so I feel like part of our job on any project is really digging into like what do our clients care about,
Yeah.
and what are their values and how can we express that in their space.
No, it is totally that. I mean, I know even when I started as an image consultant, one of the first things someone told me, she was a stylist at Nordstrom's, and she was like, realistically, you're a therapist. Like you're gonna see, and you talked about it in some years, like you're in their homes, you're in their drawers, and you get to see what they have. I'm in their closets, right? So that's a very
Totally.
intimate space, and going through that with someone and interpreting what they're saying, and obviously a lot of times, sometimes what they're saying and what they're doing is two different things. And so
Yeah.
it's like figuring out okay, like I had people be like, oh, I hate color. But then you get in their closet and all you see is color. Or their favorite thing is the most colorful outfit ever, right? And I'm like, okay, so you sure you hate it? Because it seems like you're gravitating towards that. So it is that psychology and that balancing act, right? Of just kind of understanding what they're saying, what they're meaning, and interpreting it and then bringing their vision to life.
Totally. You get to know someone really fast when you have to figure out what's in their underwear drawer. So, yeah, I always joke about how I'm a full-time designer and part-time marriage counselor because yeah, it's such an intimate process, which is something I love about it. It brings me like a lot of purpose and it's really
Yeah,
gratifying, but sometimes yeah, it can be stressful. Like as the designer, you're often the first to know about, all sorts of intimate life things. Um,
totally, right? I think you
the
said it's like
who's sleeping
you're
with babies coming, so it's like such an honor to be a part of people's, they let you into a very intimate space in their life. And yeah, I take that really seriously. So
Yeah, and they trust you with that, right? They be holding you with that information, that knowledge, and so it's all about trust.
I feel
Um,
like a hairdresser. I'm full of secrets, but it's like
right.
I have like a confidentiality,
I
thing.
agree with it. Exactly, exactly. You kind of mentioned it earlier. You're always wearing jewelry. I think you even say whether you're going to the gym or whatever, you always have on earrings. You always have on rings, and so that's almost like a signature, if you will. When it
Mhm.
comes to GSD, your firm, would you say you guys have like a signature aesthetic? Is there something that you guys have or a formula that you guys, although you interpret many different types of designs, is there a formula that you guys work through?
Um, there isn't. We don't have a
Okay.
formula, but I think, and I always describe our style as modern eclectic, which for me means it is like contemporary, but there is different genres of design being pulled in, different elements from different things, and it is sort of this like collected look or feeling, but it does change a lot with every project. I mean, one client might come to us and say they want like a European farmhouse vibe, and someone else might come to us and say they want like traditional English Tudor. And so it's always our interpretation of that. But I do think there's like a through line through our projects that are like little hallmarks or trademarks of like things that we do, like usually working with really bold stone selections, bold marble choices. There's pretty much always some curves in there, like curvilinear elements in the design. There's usually a lot of visual texture, lots of natural materials. Yeah, it's so I think those and lighting. Like I think lighting is the jewelry of the home, talking about
Yeah.
jewelry. Picking interesting light fixtures or light installations that are more like art than necessarily light. So I think those are things that we're focused on in every project. So I guess maybe that's part of our formula if we had one.
If you have one. Well, and I want to follow that up with, besides, because you have clients all over, right? You're in BC, I know you're in Whistler, I know we talked about before, you're in LA, you're in Palm Beach, you have Toronto clients. How important is it, looking back now, forming a signature so that you're able to capture clients across not just Canada, but North America?
Yeah, I think we're just always trying to keep us and our clients on their toes and trying to keep things fresh and keep pushing the boundary. So I think people who come to us, it's a little bit of like they want, I think, our eye, but we're not the firm to come to like to be like, oh, all your projects look a certain way and that's what we want. It's kind of a
Hmm.
getting to know you process and a bit of a surprise. So I feel like clients who come to us with the design brief of like, we want something that feels different from what our neighbors have or what we're used to. And so I think maybe that's what we've hopefully become a little bit known for is doing things that feel fresh and unique and trying not to like follow trends, but just do things that are interesting and unique, but also timeless. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Mixing that high low, as you mentioned, and things that can, will work
I
anytime.
love a good high-low in
Yeah.
fashion too. It's like I always tell my clients, I'm like an interior is like an outfit. You can have a Zara outfit on, but you pair it with like a nice piece of jewelry, a great bag, like a good shoe. No one knows.
No one else.
It's all about like knowing how to put things together.
Totally, totally, without question. I mean, and that's where you really can show taste, right? You don't want to ever dress off a mannequin. As you've been able to grow so quick, well, I say quickly, for you, it's probably been like, oh, it's been 7, 8 years of doing this and,
Ten
scaling
years.
and growing. Okay, 10 years, even, well, congratulations then. But I know like a lot of your projects you mentioned, you were surprised even how much of your work was derived from Instagram. That was
You
a
know
couple
what?
years ago.
Yeah.
Is that still the same way, or how are you marketing and scaling and growing? Is it still Instagram, or has it pivoted to other platforms? What are you doing, and how you're able to scale on a larger purpose?
Yeah, so I think it's always been a mix and continues to be a mix of referrals and Instagram. Like Instagram has been such an incredible tool for me. I actually don't think I think I'm not that good at it, but it has been great.
Yeah,
I've met so many amazing clients who've become friends like all over the place. Even discovering like new artists and makers and brands. Has been great through Instagram. And I find even clients who, a lot of our clients who are referred, like have already been following us on Instagram and then they ask their friends who they should hire. And then, a friend is like, oh, well, we worked with Gillian and call her, or whatever it is. So yeah, Instagram has been awesome. In terms of a growth strategy, I feel like I don't have, I need a professional to help me with that. I feel like it's been very much, just doing what feels right for me at the time. And I guess people have responded to that. And I think just trying to like put myself out there, whether that's our work on Instagram or things like I met you at, like at IDS West, like speaking at something.
totally.
But I think just, yeah, putting yourself out there is important. And I feel like I have something to say. So trying to share that with people visually, which is why I love Instagram, because it doesn't necessarily always need to be me on there. It can be our work, which I think speaks for itself, hopefully.
No, totally. I mean, you can see, and I think that's what it is. I think it's shifted, right? Where everyone's on there now, but it is that stamp of approval. It's like it used to be, and I won't date myself, but it was before, all hand to hand. I would say, shake hands and kiss babies. You politic to meet people, and now it's like, even if someone is referred to you or they come into you in a different way, they still go to your Instagram. They still not to your website as much anymore to be like, okay, are they everything I would hope them to be? And so it
Yeah.
really is still like your calling card. It's like your business card online, but it really is like, but it also allows you at whatever entity, but especially design, for them people to be like convinced that they want to work with you. You know what I mean? Like they kind of already know. And I would imagine on your end, it makes it easier for you to be like, okay, you kind of already know what I'm about and what our brand aesthetic is. So you're already kind of bought in. Is that true?
Yeah, and I think one reason why Instagram is so great, especially for designers, is like a website and a portfolio of professionally shot photographs of finished spaces. Like that can be a 5 year turnaround between like signing on to a project, doing a new construction component,
Yeah,
doing that, like waiting for permits, doing the build, then doing all the furniture, then curating the art collection, and then actually photographing it. So I feel like Instagram is a nice place to show people like this is what we're working on. Here's
the
like a behind
process.
the scenes things. Yeah, like here's an update on this project. Like yes, it's not done. It's not totally picture perfect. It's like shot with my iPhone, but I think it gives you a real sense because as I'm sure you know, being in the publication space, like how a space feels in person is not always how it's shot or photographed, and there's photo magic that happens. So I think sharing, tours and videos and things like that with people too, like gives you a sense of what things feel like.
Totally. Yeah, it's that raw, realistic. It gives you, I mean, obviously it's still digital, right? But it's more raw, it's more realistic. You get to get an idea of what it actually is. You mentioned earlier, you described your style as modern eclectic aesthetic. So I know Paris is your favorite city for good reason. I love it too. But if there was a city that would be identified as the GSD design, which would it be?
Oh, that's such a tough question. I feel like, hmm, it would maybe be somewhere in California, I think. Not actually in
Okay.
Vancouver. It would, I think,
Okay.
yeah, like it might be Los Angeles. I feel like
Okay.
in Los Angeles, you get like such a mix of different things and cultures coming together and different styles. And, I wouldn't be Vancouver, which is interesting. I think Vancouver, the kind of like go-to style here is very like Pacific Northwest, sort of, uh, or continue.
I grew up in Portland, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
So
you know
so
exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's like the West Coast modern kind of feel, which I love and appreciate, but it's not my personal style. So I feel like, yeah, I love Vancouver and I am so inspired by like the beautiful surroundings we have here, but I feel like Pacific Northwest and West Coast modern is actually not my my style.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, so when I asked that question, I was hoping you were gonna say I
Oh,
figured you
really?
would, but I was hoping. I was like, oh, she said that. Look, I know we talked, and you're like, okay, I want to do some more projects down there. And then I also heard your dream job is Justin and Haley Bieber. Is that still the case?
Dream clients.
Okay.
Clients. Canadian guy talking about fashion taste. Like I just love her style and aesthetic. Yeah, I love working with other creative people. Like getting to work like for, we were talking about Melanie Ald's store. That was such a fun project because she's a creative. She has a vision. Yeah, it's really fun working with people who are so like geeking out over the design details as you are. It's fun to share that passion. So
No,
totally, yeah, dream clients for sure.
for sure, for sure. Now, do you have? I know boutique hotels is one of your dream projects. Are you
Hmm.
working towards that? Do you have something in the works? Like, what is that looking like? Is that a 2025, 2026 plan? Like, what should we be expecting coming forward?
Let's manifest that.
Right?
2025 boutique hotel.
Boutique hotel, commercial space, or, even can be like a hotel, retail space, restaurant on the bottom, residential up top. Just do everything.
Yeah, done. Sign me up.
There we go. There we
Um,
go.
yeah, so we've really been expanding our commercial portfolio. We just did our first restaurant, a really cute wine bar here in Vancouver called Dear Gus. It's like a little European wine bar.
Okay.
And we're doing a big lobby project here in Vancouver downtown. We're doing some multifamily work. So I think all those kind of things I feel like are giving me the experience that I feel like I would need for a project like that. So yeah, working on it, working towards it.
We'll put that out there. We'll put it in the ethos and make that happen. The last question, and I'm actually kind of shocked. So I know when you decided you wanted to be in interior design, I know your parents weren't initially on board, right? But in doing like my sleuthing, I also found like your mother was almost like a pseudo design consultant when you guys were building your home. So I was kind of shocked by that.
I
Looking
love
back
all the
now,
research.
right,
Um,
it's like pulling it all together. What would she say to you now? What did she say to you now?
I feel like she denies she ever says that.
Of course.
Um,
She's like, I
she's
knew
like,
all the
"What
time.
do
I
you
knew you should, of
mean?"
course, you do design. Of course, I do design
Um,
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, now she gets it for sure. I mean, my parents, I mean, I feel like different generation, they were both professionals, like teacher,
Totally. Yeah.
doctor,
Hmm.
wanted me to go into something really like secure. My sister's the lawyer, so they checked that box.
Check that.
Um, yeah, I mean, I understand now being a parent, like wanting security for your kids. And I think design is a job where it takes a long time to make money doing it.
Hmm.
And so I can see that, but 10 years in and doing okay. So I think now they're comfortable. And I think too, they just see like how much my job lights me up. Like I love going to work every day. I love working with my team. I love working with my clients. And I think being a mom too, it would be so hard to leave my kids for a job that I hated. So I feel really
Yeah.
lucky, and I think they see that too. But yeah, no, they there was some pushback initially for sure.
Yeah, but now they're on board. Now they're on board.
Now every time I'm over, my mom's like, "So I need a new sofa. Like, do you think we can talk about this?" Like, every time I come over, we're trying to have a glass of wine, and then she's like, "Can I just ask you something?"
Oh yeah. Speaking of wine, it's totally off the subject. I love your 4:30 wine Wednesdays. Is that something that you're still doing?
It's well, now it's like wine Fridays, 4:30
Okay.
wine Fridays. Yeah.
Okay.
We
4:30.
have
Yeah.
happy hour every Friday at the office. The wine's probably already out.
Okay.
That's like our nice. I love wine. It's like my, yeah.
It's
Love a
it's it's,
good
it's good.
Love a good white wine or a good rosé. So yeah, we always unwind the week together, our team, and sometimes we're like pushing through a deadline and kind of having a glass while we work, and other times we're just like sitting around and hanging out. And yeah, it's a nice thing to look forward to at the end of the week. Are you a wine drinker?
A little bit. A little bit. I started having
What's
some more.
what's your drink of choice?
I actually so I like how things taste. So ironically, I told you me and my girlfriend, we started a mezcal page.
No way.
So we
I
did,
love
yeah.
mezcal.
Yeah, and it was one of those things coming from the Northwest. People weren't privy to it, or now in Arizona, they have it all over, and we're like, but it's one of those things where people, it's like a very specific taste. So when
Yeah.
we first started ordering it, they're like, "Are you sure?" And we're like, "Yes, we love mezcal." And so we're like, "Okay, let's just start a mezcal page." And so we go to events now and have some stuff coming up, but it's fun because it makes us get out. So I
That's
love it.
so fun. I love like a spicy mezcal margarita.
Oh my goodness, it's the best. You are making me thirsty. This when we were supposed to originally have in the design lounge, we were supposed to be having drinks. So this is, I guess, this makes sense.
So
But
we're just
I
dreaming about drinks and talking
we're
about them
we're just
instead.
dreaming about drinks. But I will let you now. It's Friday. I'll let you go have that glass of wine, and maybe I'll get a make have a mezcal. But thank you so much. It's so fun to finding out more about what you do, and then the fashion, the style, the design. I love how it all converges. And so for me, like that's what I geek out about. So again, excited. Fingers crossed for that boutique hotel. I'm sure it's gonna come to fruition soon.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun chatting, and yeah, I'm thirsty for a margarita now, so I'll have to go have one and dream about hotel design.
Done. My job is done.
Perfect.
See you soon. All right.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.